Hello, good evening. It's been a couple of months and it's been summer holidays, but welcome to the Hedgehog Hollow live stream for August. And tonight's very special, I can tell you, because not only are we going outside broadcast, but I have two guests joining me all at the same time. So I'm going to very quickly and immediately bring in Gordon and Helen from Lord Deramere's. Well, actually, Helen, you're from Lord Deramere's up in York. Gordon, you are from York University, am I correct in saying?
The University of York, Mike, yes.
University of York. Apologies, I got that wrong. University of York. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for, it looks absolutely beautiful up there. It looks like you still at least have a little bit of summer. Unlike what it's been in Gloucestershire recently, but welcome. Thank you for joining us. And to everyone else who's here, thank you for joining. As always, put in the comments where you are joining us from. I've already got a couple of people that have welcomed and joined us. Heather and Bob from Sussex. It's always great to have you. Sammy has joined us from Bromsgrove. Mark, you are joining us. Good evening, Mark. Hope all is well with you as well. And Andrew from Bolton. So we're all over the place from the UK, which is fantastic. But we're specifically in York this evening to talk to Helen and Gordon. If you recall, back in Hedgehog Awareness Week, we spoke to Zoe Chapman from Liverpool University, and she was talking about their involvement in a scheme called the Hedgehog Friendly Campus. And that was something that we got quite a bit of feedback. I got comments back after that video that that was something people weren't aware of necessarily, and it was really encouraging to see how campuses across the UK were actually being brought into this campaign and using their grounds as a sanctuary for hedgehogs. And I'm really excited to be able to have Helen and Gordon tell us about the scheme now moving and involving schools, and in particular primary schools. And Helen, you're joining us from Lord Deramere's primary school, and I'm convinced that I'm getting that name wrong. So apologies to everyone if I am.
No, it's right.
Okay, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So you're joining from Lord Deramere's primary school. It's up in York. Tell us a little bit about Lord Deramere's, just so that we know what about the school and what it's like.
Hi, so nice to join you all tonight. So Lord Deramere's, as you can see, is a lovely school, highly sought after by families in and around York. We're in Heslington. It's maintained by the City of York Council. It's a very culturally diverse primary school with 60 different nationalities because we are very close to the university.
Okay.
We were lucky enough to have a brand new school building, as you can see pictured there, in spring 2017. We have extensive grounds, which we are very lucky to have. And we take one class of each age group, so early years to year 6, aged 4 to 11. And we've got around 220 pupils.
Okay. Brilliant. And again, you mentioned there about the extensive grounds that you have, and that's what I was saying about the use of these kind of estates that schools, well, universities and now schools have, and it looks absolutely beautiful in this footage. And all of that area is yours that we're seeing right now.
Yes, it is, and even beyond the trees that you can see on the edge of your screen, the other side of the road. Okay,
absolutely brilliant. So this is your school, this is your location. How then do you become involved in a scheme like the Hedgehog Friendly Campus?
So we became involved in it because we border the University of York, who were and still are involved in the Hedgehog Friendly Campus.
Right.
Part of their criteria was community involvement, and we were taken on board by Gordon. So that's how
Gordon, that's the link to Gordon then.
So we saw, and then I saw on Facebook that they were rolling hedgehog friendly campuses out into schools.
Yeah.
And Jo, who runs Hedgehog Friendly Campus, she said there were limited numbers, sign up quickly, so we did, and that's how we're involved.
Fantastic. Well, it's lovely to actually see that footage of exactly where you are, and I think Jo may be here this evening and having joined us because the Hedgehog Friendly Campus has joined. So if that's you, Jo, it's lovely to see you.
I think it is Jo.
Absolutely.
Hi, Jo.
Hey, Jo. But So talking about Joe described you to me when we were setting up this kind of session. Joe described you as the hedgehog champion at the school. But this isn't just a solo project. Like you say, you've got Gordon's help on board. How is it working at the school? Who's involved in terms of your staff, your pupils, and then outside people like Gordon?
Okay, so I wouldn't describe myself as a hedgehog champion. There's a much bigger hedgehog champ sitting here.
Not true.
I am leading the Hedgehog Friendly Schools project. We got the Hedgehog Friendly Schools criteria. There's a big list of 120 possible topics that we could do, points that we can earn. So we shared it with Year 6 children, and we need one lead person. So I decided to do that, and the team of my pupils who have just left, the Year 6s. So we decided to do it because of COVID, and we liaised with Gordon. The teachers here are very supportive. They've taken part in activities. We've done Hedgehog Awareness Week. Classes have been built out building the dead hedge. Year 2 do a whole topic on hedgehogs. Year 5 have done some great posters after Hedgehog Awareness Week. And outside of school, we've had financial support from the Fulford and Heslington ward. So currently, no one's officially involved from outside school. We're just finding our feet, but it is definitely filtering into the community through children and their families.
And that's absolutely brilliant. And that's something I want to touch on a little later about. That's what was happening at the University of Liverpool with Zoe. And she was saying that the students would come in, all the activity happens on or around campus, but then those students are going back to, in that case, it was like dorms and reses or homes or foreign countries. And just to touch on that, you say that, pupils are they taking it home? Are you seeing evidence that what you're doing on the school property is ending up back in their home gardens?
Yeah, I've heard lots of stories about families finding hedgehogs and knowing what to do with them. Brilliant. Children and families building dead hedges in their garden, leaving areas wild, feeding them, giving them water, just small things that people can do to make a big difference.
Absolutely brilliant. So you mentioned there about the criteria. So I know that this is, I'm sharing screen and it's quite small perhaps, but you've spoken about the criteria and the very long list of criteria that you're working towards. So tell us how this is working, because it's not just a list of criteria of like tick through the box. There's actually kind of the scheme has an end goal and you get accreditation for what you've done. So talk us through how that all works.
That's right. So the school has different criteria, first of all, to the university. Are you going to talk about bronze?
Well, yeah, I mean, you probably know this anyway, Mike, but we can't, we've got to go through bronze, silver and gold stages.
Yeah,
we're currently at silver and we're going for gold this year. But Helen, with being a school, she can go straight for gold because it's just a question of amassing points, really.
Okay.
So what she's trying to do is she's done it already. I think she's got enough points for a gold award because she wants to have a gold award when we get our gold award. So hopefully we'll both get it at the same time. That's the idea.
That's the idea. And what are these? What I know they're listed on the screen there, Helen. But just what are the types of things that the school is required to do as part of the campaign, and what are the things you've been doing?
Yeah, okay. So schools can choose whether to go for bronze level or silver level or gold level. The university.
And you just went straight for gold. And you thought.
The universities have to progress from bronze through to silver, then to gold. But we can pitch it at whatever level. We do have to fulfil some criteria. So as you can see, the first 3 points on there are the essential criteria that each school has to achieve. You have to have a dog-friendly working group. You have to have had an online assembly, and you have to have a hedgehog champion. So they're the 3 criteria.
Right.
Then there are 6 other sections to choose from, which include things like raising awareness, curriculum, fundraising, that sort of all various topics that you can dip into and choose to get your points.
And so what does it look like when you are talking about adding it into your curriculum? Or what are the types of ways that you've been able to add it into the curriculum of one or various classes?
So we've got several projects going on. For example, we've done the dead hedge, which was well, it was actually Gordon's idea.
Right. Do you want me to talk about? Okay. Right.
I've got, and again, I've got some images of the dead hedge and possibly Gordon's handyman doing some work here.
Yeah, that's you can see me on the right hand side there, and that's a couple of ground staff, Carl and Chris, and we're just basically putting in a framework of tree stakes around the perimeter of the oak tree that you can see at the back of us, and so that was really our involvement. The rest of it was done by Helen and the children.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So the dead hedge, as you can see behind us, is basically between the stakes and the pictures on the screen. So the children, there we go, some of my pupils collecting up sticks from around the premises, and we literally just laid them in, and we did it in all weathers, including snow.
Absolutely brilliant. And what then is, so what's the thinking behind a dead hedge, firstly, in terms of the benefit it might have for hedgehogs and for other critters, and what's been the impact and what have you seen?
Okay. Yeah. Well, as far as the dead hedge goes, Mike, it's just basically another habitat, really.
Right.
So it's just another form of habitat creation, and we've obviously Helen and the children have made it porous so that the hedgehogs can travel underneath it and through it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What we really wanted to do was link our campus with Lord Deramore's school as well. So it kind of like it increases the amount of habitat that the hedgehogs have available to them. So the fence at the back of the oak tree, the big fence that you can't see, that's porous as well, because we've got hedgehogs on campus. We've got a feeding station just at the back of that big tree, and so it made perfect sense to link the two sites together to increase the territory for the hedgehog.
So you've effectively brought the university's estate and this primary school's estate together to make just this absolutely massive area for hedgehogs. They must absolutely love it.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's just like the principle of putting little hedgehog highways in your garden fence, so that gardens are accessible up and down the street. It's just on a far bigger scale. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are the types of things? I know you provided me, and I haven't got it here, footage that you've taken on trail cams of the hedgehogs on the property. But beyond the hedgehogs, have you seen other wildlife, be that insects or bees or anything like that have started visiting the primary school as a result of this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've caught foxes, we've caught mice, we've caught birds, all sorts of different creatures, and the wild area within the dead hedge gets us points for because I know you asked how it helps, so it gets us points towards the Hedgehog Friendly Campus as well.
You're ticking off the points. You are the hedgehog champion. You're thinking points all the time. You're thinking points. Now, another thing, we were talking about insects, but another thing that you did was you've actually also built a really luxurious bug hotel. So talk me through this. And again, the kids are involved and doing a lot of the work.
Absolutely, they did it all. So it was actually an activity that we did on the first day back after our class, unfortunately, we were locked down for a period of time. So we came back and we went straight into making a bug hotel. So the bug hotel was a competition run by the Don Hanson Charitable Foundation. Right. Don was a Halifax man who died aged 79 and was passionate about education and educating and inspiring the next generation. So there in that picture, you can see the box surrounding the DH. Yeah. And schools were sent out a Don Hanson box, and in it contained a flat pack of the little box in the top. So we were asked to take part in a competition. All the schools all over England, and further were asked to take part in a competition to build a bug hotel from the 5 pieces of wood included in the Hansen box to make a bug hotel. So we decided to go big, and that's what we created. The children went into groups of about 3 and they made a layer each. They all brought things in from home. The collection of natural resources that we had was phenomenal. And we popped it all together and put the Don Hansen executive suite in the top of the bug hotel, Buckingham Palace.
I love the name. The Buckingham Palace is absolutely brilliant. But I mean, that is just to put that into perspective quickly. That looks like pallet boxes that you've used.
Yeah, they were just
pallets.
Yeah, we stacked them up.
So that's the size of what it is. And I was counting while you were talking. There are 9 levels before you get to the Don Hansen Executive Suite. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's a very luxurious hotel. Very luxurious.
Absolutely. You don't do things small at all. And then another thing that you had mentioned was about not just doing things on the school property, and I know that you've worked with Gordon and the university, but actually getting out into the community. So this isn't specifically about the children themselves taking that information home to their own homes. This is about you going out into your local community to the school. So talk me about, you've done some leaflets here which look amazing.
Yeah, we were delighted with the leaflets. Just before we go on to that, I'll just add that lots of the photos that you've seen, we've been using quite advanced tools, so the children learn how to roof the Hedgehog Hotel, the bug hotel, and they've cut the plastic pipe and all sorts of, some quite technical life skills, really. So
yeah, absolutely,
they've really enjoyed that. But back to the leaflets, which is what you were talking about. So it was a writing project. I'm sure many teachers and people know that in year 6, writing is quite a big part of the curriculum, but we wanted to show off what we'd learned about hedgehogs, which, as you can see there, it's just, the standard is phenomenal. The handwriting, the artwork, the content. So we had the writing project. The children actually chose to do it because they'd learned so much and were so full of it. So we produced information leaflets based on the 5 or 6 most common hazards to the hedgehogs that we felt in the locality. Right, and the children picked up litter, chemicals, ponds, lack of food and water, and then they could choose 3 topics from that list and make their own leaflet. So they did. We photocopied them 3 times, each leaflet 3 times, and we went into the community and dropped them through doors, and we did a litter pick. The children wanted to do a litter pick at the same time, all of which earned us points. But we've had phenomenal feedback from this project. We've had people donating to hedgehog charities and emailing school and making a difference in their garden.
Fantastic.
And just because of the work we've done.
So again, and this is just, and I know we're coming to photos now, both of the children with their leaflets, but here this is the litter pick that you were talking about, and this was out in the community. It's not just in the school. This is in the community area.
Yeah, so we took leaflets, and there's one of my pupils giving leaflets, and it was just the community. We've done a couple of community events, and the community have given us really positive feedback. The classroom doors covered in thank you cards, and that's the amount of litter we picked up. Luckily, Heslington's doesn't have a lot of litter, but we've still managed to pick up. That's what we picked up from, on a couple of litter picks.
And just going back through this again, it just strikes me. I know you're doing it in terms of the campaign, but just for people listening, to me, it strikes me that you talk about English class, you talk about writing lessons, you talk about the artwork being done here. There's the research being done. There's the fact that the children themselves have identified the hazards within their local area. So there's that kind of learning element to it as well. There's taking this outside of just the school and into the community, and you've had such a great kind of response from that. I think it kind of underlines that I know I keep hassling you about ticking the boxes and getting the points, but this really is a very meaningful campaign, both to the children themselves and their families, to the school, but you're making a difference to the community, and you can see it's people going out into the community and that response. You're making an absolute difference.
Yeah, and the beauty of the leaflets were that the children could present any information that they wanted in any way. So it gives them, and that's another beauty of being year 6 teacher. They can have, because they're 10 and 11, they have the ability and the freedom to present it how they want.
Absolutely. So it's coming back to what you were saying almost earlier about that life skills. It's such an all-round part. I asked you earlier about how you include it in the curriculum, but it strikes me that it can hit so many different parts of the curriculum. It's not just about counting how many hedgehogs, 1, 2, 3. It's actually a lot of really beneficial life skills that you're able to kind of benefit the pupils with.
Yeah, there's a lot that we've learned, and they're just so keen to do it, as you can see from the standard of the leaflets.
And how long have you been doing this now? Because it's not. Have you been doing it all of this current year?
So we joined at the end of March. We submit the evidence. We have to submit the evidence to Joe by the 31st of December, but we're well on the way. We've got lots of evidence put into the tracking system. Yeah. We are audited in January 2022, and the certificates are issued in February 2022. So yeah, just since the end of March, really.
And Gordon, that's the similar type of process that the universities are subjected to, in terms of you do all of your activity during the course of a calendar year, and then you submit to the campaign what you've done and the evidence of what you've done. Yeah.
You upload the evidence as and when you do it, or as and when you fulfil the criteria, and then Joe will sort of check it sort of end of the year, sort of early next year time, and then sort of mid-January next year we'll find out whether we've been successful and we've achieved gold or not.
Okay, absolutely brilliant. And just I know Joe's in the wings watching, but this Hedgehog Friendly Campus campaign is part of, it's something that the British Hedgehog Preservation Society and Hedgehog Street together are, or PTES, are supporting, and it's not just Joe. We keep mentioning Joe, but it's not just Joe. It's part of the Hedgehog Preservation Society, isn't it?
Yeah, Joe's my contact though, and she gets a lot of emails.
we just keep talking about Joe, but yes, absolutely. Now, we'll come back quickly if I'm just now, excuse me, but I am just trying to upload and share something else very quickly, because your hedgehog, your dead hedge at least, got featured, and I am just desperately trying to find it. It got featured in the local newspaper, and it's still on the website that you can find all about the Dead Hedge project. Now, again, I know that this is part of the criteria of being featured, but this, again, for a local primary school to get this kind of coverage is really beneficial, isn't it?
Yeah. We were very pleased that they wanted to follow the article. They heard about it, contacted us, and asked us all about it. So it's there on the website. If you Google the press and put in Hedgehog Sanctuary or Lord Deramere School.
Lord Deramere School, and you can find it on Google. And again, it talks all about. It includes your involvement, Gordon. It mentions you by name, but it really features again the fact that this is a campaign where the children are getting involved and the impact on the community. So it's absolutely brilliant from that perspective. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. What's been the reaction? I asked you earlier about who's helping you, Helen, in terms of the staff and that. But what's been the reaction of the staff to seeing the impact it's having both on the school and on the children?
Yeah, that's all been positive. I mean, everything. It's a very positive school, very forward-thinking school. So we're all keen to make a difference, and any small differences that we can make is great. So yeah, people are very, very positive. Parents are commenting. We have a lot of people following us on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and we get a lot of likes.
And I can see why. I mean, it's easy to get passionate about what you're doing and just see that impact. But we are toward the end of August. School term is just about to start, and like you say, the submission only happens at the end of the year or in January, so we've got some of the year to go. I dread to fear what you might have planned still, given how much you've achieved in the last few months, but what is on the cards for the rest of the year in terms of the campaign?
So what is on the cards for the next year.
Where are we?
I've got a list somewhere.
I've definitely asked a trick question. We've lost a piece of paper.
So we've got we're going to go through the hedgehog friendly criteria. We've got some trees coming to extend the forest area. We are going to hopefully set up more substantial water and feeding stations, possibly look at fundraising, one of the criteria on fundraising, and just continue the work we've started so that we can just keep making our grounds more hedgehog friendly.
And when you no doubt achieve your gold status, is that kind of the end of the project, or is this something that the school is actually seeing real benefits in terms of taking it into next year and just keeping this going?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not going to be the end of the project at all, because the hedgehogs need as much help as they can get at the moment with all the, with the decline in the population. Yeah. But we want to keep going. I mean, the dead hedge is there to stay. We want to carry on doing as much good work as we can.
So this is really becoming kind of I want to call it a permanent fixture. I'm talking the dead hedge is a permanent fixture, but this kind of activity and this mindset between the school and the kids really is kind of becoming a permanent fixture.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it will be, because only a few weeks ago I had 2 year 5 pupils. Miss Smith, we found a sick hedgehog. So off I went to the bottom of the field, and there it was. And yeah, so children are keen to help, and we do what we can to help.
And that's absolutely brilliant. And beyond, if there was someone watching who is at a school, a pupil at a school, a parent at a school, and might be considering getting involved and getting in touch with Joe and say, hey, we want to be a hedgehog friendly school, what would your advice or what would you say to those people who might be considering?
So yeah, absolutely. This is a trial period, and if it's extended, join up. We're lucky to have extensive grounds, but the criteria outlines enough projects that can be done in all schools. Yeah. I mentioned the hedgehogs that we found. Yep. I know we've had a link with a local hedgehog rescue. So can we talk about that a bit?
Absolutely.
So big shout out to Fiona, who runs Urchins Hedgehog Care in York, who put us on to Caroline, who runs Hedgehog Cottage Rescue near York. Mm-hmm. So we had an interactive talk there with Caroline, and the children absolutely loved it. They asked all sorts of questions like, how can you tell if a hedgehog's a boy or a girl? Do vets charge you? How old are they when they get their spines? How old do they have to be to mate? Can you feed them sweet corn? Can they have milk other than cow's milk? How old do they normally live to? Which animals attack hedgehogs? How many different species are there? How warm does the hot water bottle have to be if you find a sick hedgehog? What do their nests look like? Have you ever had any hedgehogs brought in that have had an accident in litter?
Wow.
So yeah, actually on the school site, we found 4 hedgehogs, 4 that have come out in the day that shouldn't have been. Yep. And Fiona, I rig or text Fiona, say we found another one, and on Tuesday, another one turned up right by the classroom door. Wow. So Fiona's got Dorog in her care. So
fair enough.
But that was Caroline. That was Caroline talking there to us.
That's Caroline. That's Caroline visiting the school. So it's what's really, really interesting about what's interesting about the campaign and hedgehogs relative to running it at a school or university, for that instance, is the fact that they're nocturnal. They pretty much, with the exception of your sick hedgehogs, they're pretty much not there when the pupils are perhaps at the school. So for you to get this type of involvement and excitement and passion from the pupils is absolutely brilliant for something that they only come in the next day. And I'm assuming they check the webcam, the trail cam to see what's been there. How does that work? How do you get them seeing the evidence of what they've done?
Yeah, the trail cameras are a big hit. I have to check them first, obviously, that it's not picked anything up.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the footage, and we are a forest school. Forest Schools and outdoor education delivery model in which the students visit natural spaces to learn personal, social, technical skills.
Yep.
And we do activities such as fires, dens, art, tree climbing, and Hedgehog Friendly Schools has just enhanced the provision.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we've had it's
Absolutely.
having.
And Gordon, for you, having the school alongside, and I know you've been involved in their project, which is probably added to the normal work you're doing on the campus. But what's that been like for the university to have this estate alongside working with you in this way?
Well, it's a win-win situation really, because one of the university's aims and objectives is to be a force for good in the
Yep.
community, in the local community, in the regional community, and it's a perfect way for us to be able to sort of have some community involvement on our doorstep, help the school, and pool our resources, if you like. Our resources being the sort of the land available to us, and just try and improve things generally for the local hedgehog population.
Yep, absolutely brilliant. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you join, and the passion that you guys have got both for the hedgehogs and just that have generated within this campaign, and being able to get the community around you so passionate is absolutely brilliant. All the best, Helen, for the rest of the year. When does school go back officially? I marketed this as we're going back to school, but I wasn't sure when school goes back.
I don't know. No, it's a week on Monday.
Week on Monday. All right. So, and what's happening now? You mentioned that there was a hedgehog out during the day earlier in the week, but it's school holidays. So how are we monitoring hedgehogs during the week?
Well, I'm popping in quite a lot. We've got some grounds work going on. So we're having a big greenhouse fitted, and we've had contractors in and volunteers in doing work. So I just keep checking.
Okay. Fair enough. But school commences again a week on Monday, so all the activities will start up again. And this is a brand new year, isn't it? So you've got a new intake of pupils in your lowest year that'll start learning about hedgehogs.
That's right.
Absolutely brilliant. Guys, Gordon and Helen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure. Joe, thank you for your involvement and getting involved. I'm going to wave to Joe. I know she's in the wings, so to speak. And thank you for your support. And honestly, if you're thinking, if the trial, I'm sure, is going to be a huge success, and I'm sure that the project will be extended to schools generally. So if you're thinking about getting involved, and just the amount of benefit that it can have both for the school, the community, and the hedgehogs themselves, it really seems like fantastic. Helen and Gordon, thank you so much for joining. Been an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome.
Take care, and everyone else, I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to give us a like and leave some comments. Let me know what your thoughts have been, and did you know about the project and that it was extending into schools. Until next time, from myself, Mike, and Helen and Gordon, you take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.